Hello everybody and happy Tuesday. Welcome to Bird's Nest Designs. My name is Denise Fox. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada, and I am super excited to be here tonight with you for Tutorial Tuesday. These ring reflections on my glasses are driving me nuts, so bear with me for one sec. Switch angles here, turn off this ring light for a moment. There we go, that's a little bit better. Okay, so I don't have circles in my eyes. So welcome everybody. Tonight I am super excited to be here. I've got some fun new stamp techniques to share with you using one of my new favorite stamp sets. Let's talk a little bit about this stamp set because I tell you, it's one I would have overlooked, but I didn't, and I'm so happy I did. So tonight I'm using the Lovely and Lasting stamp set. So I'm dying to know in the comments, let me know, is this one on your current wish list, or do you already have it in your collection? Because this is one that I was really shocked at how much I loved it when I first saw it. And now that I have it and I'm stamping with it, I love it even more. And it's not one I would typically gravitate towards. So I'm super excited that I followed my gut and ordered it because it's really, really awesome. So welcome everybody. Welcome to those of you who are live with me tonight here. And also welcome to all of you who will be watching this as on a replay or through my YouTube channel. So yes, Gail got on her wish list and loved the punch. Me too. I love this one so much that I featured it for my Happy Hostess Club for June. And I've created some fun cards for that group. And then I just couldn't stop. So here we are tonight. I'm going to show you some techniques. So before we get started, can we believe that it is the last day of May? Like, where is this year going? This is absolutely crazy. So that being said, you guys have hopefully all heard about the amazing in-color starter kit that Stampin' Up! Is offering. And today is the last day to take advantage of that. So I would love for you to join our team. I've got a couple of my team members watching tonight, so we would all welcome any new members to our team. It's a really, really great deal. You've all heard me talk about it, I'm sure, over the past few weeks. But really quick, so you get to choose $165 worth of product, and you're going to pay only $135. You don't pay any shipping, and you only pay the PST here in BC, no GST. You can join from anywhere in Canada. And for the month of May, which ends tonight, you will also get $91 of free in-color product added to your kit. So it's a fabulous deal, and we have a lot of fun on our team, and joining Stampin' Up! Is a really awesome thing. I was listening to a demonstrator earlier tonight, and she hit it on a nail on the head. She said, joining Stampin' Up! Is kind of like joining Costco, because you pay a little bit up front to get your starter kit, but then you get a discount all year long while you place your own orders on the products you love. It's even better though, because when you purchase your membership or your starter kit, you get product with it. So you're not just paying for a membership, you're actually getting the products you love. So that's all I'm going to say about that. If you have any questions, sorry, my dogs keep giving me their toys to play with. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me because I would love to answer any questions you have. And I, again, would love to have you join our team. All right. Hi, Sherry. Okay. So, Lucy, go. Sorry, guys. Puppies are crazy, and everybody else in my house is either in bed or out golfing. So I'm here with the puppies. Thank you so much for sharing, Sonia. I really appreciate that. It really helps to spread the creativity and have other people watch my videos. All right, so without further ado, let's flip the camera down to the desk. And what we're going to do tonight is a little different than what we've done on Tutorial Tuesdays in the past. So we're going to, as I mentioned, we're going to use this beautiful stamp set. And Gail mentioned the bundle, which comes with this gorgeous punch, the Lasting Label punch. It is absolutely beautiful. I love it. And this image here coordinates with the punch. So I've done one up ahead of time just to show you guys. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? I love it. So aside from that, if you just stamp the outside, you could also make a pillow if you wanted a pillow. You could make, the first time I stamped it, the first thing that came to my mind was a bag of feed for chickens because I had seen the Hey Chick stamp on my shelf just before that. But regardless, lots of uses for this beautiful punch. All right, so what I want to show you tonight is different techniques of stamping using, there, turn the light back on, using this beautiful stamp. So we're not actually, I don't think, going to make a card tonight, but we are going to do a few different things just to show you why this stamp set is so beautiful and what we can do with the magic of ink, stamps, and paper. All right, so we're going to start off. Tonight I'm going to use, for the most part, this color scheme, which I think is absolutely beautiful. So the brand new Sweet Sorbet, Pale Papaya, and Mossy Meadow. And for now, we're going to use this gorgeous flower right here, okay? So basically what I want to show you tonight is 5 different ways to stamp the same image and get a completely different look. So I'm watching the comments and I'm super excited to see what you guys have to say. If you're admiring this beautiful paper here, this is the In Color grid paper. It's brand new. It is one of the items you get free if you join my team tonight. If you join Stamping Up. All right, so first things first, let's just do the really basic, really simple. We're just going to ink this up with the Pale Papaya and we're going to stamp it. Okay, so that is number 1 way to stamp, and that's pretty basic, right? But look how gorgeous that is. I love it. So there's number 1. Just stamp it, just ink and paper, no fussy cutting, no punching, no nothing. Beautiful, beautiful image. So the next thing we're going to do, or the second thing, we're going to kind of step this up. So we just did a single stamping. I'm just going to quickly clean this stamp. Okay. So we did just a simple stamp there. Now I'm going to bring in another piece of paper. And this time I'm going to stamp the same image using Mossy Meadow. Now, Mossy Meadow might be an odd color to stamp this in. But you'll see why. So we're going to stamp this one over on this side here. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, that's beautiful, but it's all Pale Papaya, and the leaves are Pale Papaya and the flowers. So here's how we're going to get around this. Hi, Sharon. Welcome. Okay, so now we've got it stamped in Mossy Meadow. I just love that image. So, 2 stamping. Now, let's do some fussy cutting because we were going to totally change the look of this simply by, let's cut out the right one, Denise. We're going to cut out these Pale Papaya flowers. And we're really easy. We're just going to go around here. And I'm not going to do all of them. So don't think you have to sit and watch me cut all these guys out. I do have one already prepared here, but just so you get the idea, we're going to cut the flowers. And I really enjoy fussy cutting. I find it very rewarding, relaxing. I know some of you probably don't, but it's really easy. These flowers are not that hard to cut out. So let's just do a couple. We'll do this big one here as well. It'll only take a second. Okay. So you probably heard me mention before that when you're fussy cutting, one of the tricks I find is to turn the paper instead of like maneuvering the scissors around. I'm turning the paper like this. So it just helps to have a little bit more control over what you're cutting. And I always leave a white edge around mine because it's more forgiving. It always makes it look a little bit more finessed, in my opinion anyway. Okay, enough of that. So there we go. We've cut out the 2. So what we're going to do then is using a couple of bumpets or Stampin' Dimensionals. We're going to attach this. We're going to match it up, put it over top. And look how that just totally changes this beautiful image. And all we've done, ink, stamp, paper, and a pair of scissors. So that is another stamping technique. It's like paper piercing. I did a video a while ago here that I showcased stamping on the DSP, cutting it out. So look at that, right? How beautiful is that? And here's a card that I made earlier. Really simple, same idea, right? Cut exactly the same thing. I finished cutting out the flowers. I adhered it to some mossy meadow and then onto a pale papaya card base. And then I just stamped this gorgeous thank you from the Lovely and Lasting stamp set. So really simple card, but there's stamping technique too, using the paper piercing and the cutting apart. So that's another one that you can use this stamp set for. All right. So while we're stamping, we're still in stamping mode. I've got another piece of paper here. So let's clean this stamp again. Now I'm going to show you guys what's called the kissing technique. So when I first started stamping, I could not get enough of all the different techniques and things that you could do. But as time goes on and years pass, because here we are 12 or 13 years later, you kind of forget, and you just, you get, either you learn new techniques or you forget about those ones before. But here's a technique that I want to share with you guys. So I'm inking up the stamp, as you can see, just in my pale papaya. And then I'm going to turn it upside down. Then I'm going to bring in Sweet Sorbet. How many of you watching have ever used this kissing technique before? Because it's really a fun one. So see this image here? I don't know if you guys can see that very well on the camera, but it's this gorgeous tile one here. So I've got that mounted on my block, and I'm going to stamp it in Sweet Sorbet, and then I'm going to stamp that on my stamp. Okay, and then I can stamp it off and then stamp it again, and I'm going to stamp that on my stamp. Okay, so I'm kissing the stamps together. Okay, this is going to be super fun. Now you can cover the whole thing, you can cover part of it. As you can see in mine, I've got some that has the red and some doesn't. Now watch what happens when we stamp this. This is so fun. So I'm stamp it on the paper. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So we've got the image, but we also have the pattern of the other stamp. So we can have both colors, and we have the pattern as well. Isn't that cool? I love it. And it's super simple. You can do it with, obviously, with an array of different colors. You just want to really be careful that if you have a dark ink on the original stamp, when you stamp it with the other one, it's probably not going to show. So the idea is to have a light ink on your base stamp and then a darker ink on your patterned or second stamp. And then when you kiss them together, you end up with a really, really gorgeous pattern design. Okay, and it's super simple. Again, all we've used is ink, paper, and stamp. So that's technique number 3. Gail, oh, isn't it cool? I know, I love that one. And I often forget about it. You do need a special kind of stamp. You do need a stamp that is a fairly solid image in order for it to work, of course. But we have lots of those in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. So, okay, now we're gonna do another way. So recently I have been asked a whole bunch of times about the Stampin' Write markers. So that's these guys here. That's these thin little water-based markers, right? The Stampin' Write markers. Oh, bear with me, guys, 1 minute. My dogs have something they shouldn't. Linus, come here. No. Okay, sorry for that minor interruption, but let's just go ahead and clean this stamp. So we're talking about the Stampin' Write markers and the water base. So these are different than the Stampin' Blends that I often use that are the alcohol-based beautiful thick markers. So this technique is we're going to take our stamp and we're going to color it. So again, it's photopolymer, right? So we can see, I'm going to use, for this one, I'm going to use all of the returning in colors. And I'm just going to choose how to color them however I want. So I'm just kind of, I don't want to say I'm scribbling, but I'm just coloring the stamp upside down like this. So this would be as opposed to, you know, stamping it in your ink pad, right? So I'm going to use polished pink to color these two large flowers. Okay, and then I'm going to switch to fresh freesia and I'm going to color the two unopened flowers. Okay, then I'm going to use pale papaya and I'm going to color the inside of this flower. So as you can see, what's happening is I'm able to choose a bunch of different colors on the same stamp. So if I was just to use my ink pad, as you saw before when I stamped the first one, we ended up with just a solid colored image, right? This is a way to really give you a lot of creative ability to your stamp set by coloring. And don't worry about it being, you know, perfectly perfect. It's stamping, right? It's handmade. And this is going to look really fun. Okay, so I've used some of the Evening Evergreen, and now I'm going to use some Soft Succulent. Some of these colors might be hard for you guys to see, but it is covering the whole stamp. I'll just do this one up here. All right, so now that ink is all on here. Now you can use this with photopolymer stamps or the red rubber stamps. Either way will work. The trick is this is giving it a little bit of time to dry while it's sat on here. So as silly as this sounds, you're just going to huff on the stamp. So just breathe on it like that. And then we're going to stamp it. Hi, Linus. Yes, hello, buddy. Get down. Okay, now watch this. Isn't that fun? So again, a totally different look, right? But we got multiple colors. And if you wanted to, you could stamp it again over top and see if it kind of got you a bit more color. But you know what? I'm not even going to bother because it's probably not going to work with the camera over top. But there we have another technique. So that's number 4. I do have one more, so bear with me. So this one, isn't that neat how that happened? Okay, so the second one we're going to do, let's clean this again. This one is similar, but has a little twist. Okay, so again, we're going to start and we're going to, for this one, I'm actually going to use a piece of watercolor paper. Okay, so this is just our Fluid 100 watercolor paper. You can purchase this in the catalog. It comes in 5x7 sheets. It's phenomenal. There's 10 sheets in it. Okay, so that's what I'm using. But first, we're going to color again. I'm going to color this stamp. And it's going to just be I lost my words. Okay, we're just going to color this really quickly, again, with our ink. Yes, Alana, you huff and you puff. We got to get that ink all nice and moisted up again. Okay, so I'm coloring, this time I'm using pale papaya on the unopened flowers. Okay. And then I'll use my fresh freesia in the centers. I love these colors together. They're just so beautiful. Okay, so there we got fresh freesia. Now we'll use our soft succulent. Okay, so I'm just getting these colored in. And you want to make sure that you're using this brush end of your marker, because if you use the other end, you'll be here all day and night trying to get these images colored. Okay. So now we've got it all colored. Now do not try this. I'm going to color the centers in this green as well. Do not try this with your alcohol markers because it won't work, and the alcohol will likely dry out your stamps, which is not a good thing. So we've used Stampin' Write markers. We've colored our image. You can see it just like that. Now I'm going to bring in my mister. So I've got a Stampin Spritzer here. These are available in the catalog as well in a pack of 2. And it just has water in it. Okay, nothing fancy, just water. And I'm just going to spray this. Okay, so you can see the ink is sort of pooling. Now I'm going to bring in my watercolor paper and I'm going to stamp this on there. And you can see it kind of all smushed. Just giving it a bit of extra pressure, make sure all that ink transfers. And now we have a beautiful, as it dries, it'll look even better. But we've got a beautiful watercolored image. Isn't that fun? So those are 5 different ways that we can stamp the beautiful, lasting, lovely and lasting floral image. So we've got just plain stamping, which we did first, and I cut that one up. So we just stamped it once first. Then we stamped it twice, once in green and once in pale papaya. We fussy cut the pale papaya and we created a beautiful card with dimensionals and layers. Next, we used the kissing technique. So we stamped the flower in the pale papaya, and then we stamped this beautiful tile image in Sweet Sorbet onto the stamp before we stamped it on the paper. Then we colored the photopolymer stamp and stamped it directly, after we huffed and puffed, directly onto some white, basic white paper. So this is just cardstock. Then we took the same stamp, we colored it with our Stampin' Write markers, we misted it with some water, and we stamped it onto watercolor paper, and we got this gorgeous, gorgeous image. So there's our 5 techniques. I hope that you've learned something new, or maybe had a refresher in techniques that you've already done in the past. And these could easily all be turned into card fronts by simply adding a sentiment. You know, you could just add this right there and then put some matting on it. What do we have here? This probably isn't the right color, but here, we could make this one. We could take some Sweet Sorbet and we could mat that up. We could pop up a thank you, and we could have a really simple card on a white or a pale papaya card base even. So really easy to create some cards. So I hope that you found some inspiration to pull out some ink, some stamps, and some paper and try these fun techniques. I'm dying to know which one was your favorite. So as I'm finishing up here, and let me turn this light off again, it rings off my glasses. There we go. As I'm finishing up here, I would love to read your comments and tell me which of these techniques did you find the coolest? Do you like the best? Or are you dying to go and try? I also want to know if now that lovely and lasting stamp set is on your wish list, even if it wasn't before, because I love it. It is absolutely gorgeous. It does come with as a suite as well, and it comes with a gorgeous embossing folder, and it comes with the lovely linen designer series paper, which is fabulous, full of bright colors and fun tile patterns. Textile-y type patterns with lots of texture looking. So it's a really, really, really fun product suite, and it's in the annual catalog. So Alana loves the watercolor, great. Gail loves the 2 stamps and 2 colors, so that was the kissing technique. I love that one too, it's so fun. All right, everybody, that is my video for tonight. I am going to upload this to my YouTube channel, so anybody can watch the replay down the road. And I will also have all of these techniques highlighted on my blog tomorrow morning, so be sure to check that out as well. All right, tonight is a really exciting night for us demonstrators. Well, technically tomorrow, but some of us may stay up tonight. The new Christmas catalog or the holiday catalog is coming out, and we get to pre-order. So I'm going to be browsing that and deciding what of those beautiful stamp sets I need to have, because that catalog is very amazing. So yeah, so that's what my evening's going to entail. I hope that you guys all enjoy the rest of your evening. And like I said, I hope that you found some inspiration with some ink, stamps, and paper, and to try a couple of these fun stamping techniques. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you all next week. Cheers!